Welcome back. Joining us is career coach Joe Szynkowski, and today we are talking about burnout. And I could imagine lots of people out there probably experience burnout in some sort of way. So what are the common signs that someone is experiencing burnout?
Yeah, it's definitely an issue we've seen more of, especially post-pandemic as we're kind of coming out of COVID. Some signs that you might be experiencing burnout is you might be a little spicier than usual.
Yeah.
You know, you might be shorter tempered. Your patience might be running out a little bit quicker than it usually does. You might see that your workload is increasing because maybe you're not getting things done as quickly as you used to. And from an employer perspective, you might see that your employees are missing more deadlines. You're seeing more complaints to HR. So there's definitely signs on both sides that would lead you to believe that burnout's happening.
Right. And you know, with the COVID pandemic, that really shifted a lot of people to work remote. How has that affected workplace burnout? Has there been, much? Has it bettered that? Are people not as burnt out because they're at home? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. We're seeing that line of, pre-COVID and post-COVID now, and 10 to 15% more people say they're actually burning out quicker than before the pandemic. Yeah, I think it's just because we're always on. We're always accessible. Used to, back in my day, I'm much older than you, but could go to work, come home, and kind of leave it separate. But now our phones are always on. We're constantly, being reached outside of office hours, and I think that's what's led to even more burnout. And it's been proven with a lot of research. I
feel like it's hard these days to find that balance and find a way to why can I not think of the word?
Compartmentalize.
There it is. I just had it in my head. Yeah. It's hard to do that when you are, working remote, and you have your phone right next to you, and your phone is on, the email is on, and you have all those ways to get a hold of or whatnot. And so what are some steps that employees and employers can take to prevent that burnout?
Yeah, I think it's all about putting in place burnout barriers is what we try to call them. So I was talking to a guy on LinkedIn yesterday. What he does is he leaves his phone in his office, and he's taking back his lunch break. So before, he would find himself working during lunch, trying to be as kind of efficient as he could. But now he leaves it there. He goes for a walk. He eats his lunch. That's a barrier he puts in place every day that can help him kind of stave off burnout. You might have monthly things you can do, annual things you can do, specific trips that help you feel refreshed and get recharged. From an employer perspective, I think it's about just listening to your people, not skipping those one-on-one meetings, even though we all have way too many meetings, but making sure you're being heard, you're letting your people be heard. And then also putting in place not so much like Yoga Wednesday or Pizza Friday, but maybe some mental health services or things that your employees actually need to feel better about their jobs.
I could imagine, because no person wants to just go to their job and feel like they have to do those tasks every single day without getting any feedback from their employers or getting that appreciation from their employers, because that really does matter. That changes the game for if a person stays at that job or if they decide to leave and find something better. And so you guys do a lot of this at your guys' Work Happy Hour. You talk about a lot of these different topics that we also talk about, and you do networking. So let's talk about the next Work Happy Hour that you have coming up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we created this thing to help people with these kind of issues. So overcome burnout, overcome all these workplace stressors. So the next one's next Wednesday, the 29th. We do them the last Wednesday of every month. Special guest comes in. I interview them just like this. They give tips on how they're overcoming things and how they're finding career happiness. So this month we've got TJ Cowan, who owns Cold Blooded Coffee. That guy does a whole bunch of different things. He will tell you he's burned out in different points of his career. So he's got tips and tricks on how he stays motivated. Music by Matt Bosler. Next Wednesday, 5 to 7 at Celebrations Event Center in Marion.
And this doesn't cost a penny, right?
No pennies. You don't have to bring a penny. Free food, free beer. Music's great. We got some swag, and just hopefully get you into some networking situations that can help you overcome burnout.
That is awesome, and this is taking place at Celebrations over in
Marion, Illinois.
Marion, Illinois. Well,
yes,
if you guys are looking for a place to do some networking or just learn about how to overcome burnout or the other different topics that they have talked about, and I know you guys do this every single month, so if you can't make it next Wednesday, there's going to be one coming up in June and then thereon after. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a bit.